This podcast is brought to you by Impact.com. Impact.com is the world's leading partnership management platform. Are you looking for new ways to acquire new customers? Impact.com can help you drive revenue through partnerships with publishers, creators, or other brands. Visit Impact.com today. 75% of our own advertisers say that rather than coming to our own resource, like help centers, materials, they actually just go to our influencers. They would rather rely on the third-party partners to get that information about how to launch TikTok ads versus just come to us directly.
You're listening to the Affiliate Marketing Podcast brought to you by AffyverseMedia.com, the chapter and verse of everything you need to know about running a successful affiliate program for your business. Now, here's your award-winning affiliate and performance marketing host and industry veteran, your affiliate marketing guide, and the founder of Affyverse, Leanne Johnston.
In just a few short years, TikTok has exploded onto the global stage, becoming a social media juggernaut with over 1 billion active users worldwide. It's not just a platform for dance trends and viral challenges. It's a goldmine of opportunity for businesses and marketers alike. But here's what people don't know. Behind the scenes, TikTok is revolutionizing the B2B landscape through its innovative affiliate program. Today on the Affiliate Marketing Podcast, we're pulling back the curtain on this hidden powerhouse. Join me as I sit down with Vana, the mastermind behind TikTok's global affiliate program for TikTok businesses. Vana reveals exactly how affiliates can tap into this billion-user ecosystem and transform their marketing game. The game is changing, and after this episode, you'll be ahead of the curve. Welcome to this week's Affiliate Marketing Podcast with me, your host, Leanne Johnston. And today I'm super excited because I finally got Vana, the head of global affiliate for TikTok business, on the podcast with me today. And I'm super excited to have you, Vana. Thank you so much for joining.
Happy to be here.
Now, before we get started, my favorite first question to ask any person that joins me on the Affiliate Marketing Podcast is, how did you get started in affiliate and performance marketing? So tell us your backstory and how you landed up at TikTok.
Yeah, actually quite easy. It's one of my first job out of college into affiliate world. I just always loved it. I love the beauty of it's part science and part human connection. How I ended up here, I think it's same reason that a lot of people ended up here. It's a striving company. It's the right time. There's very few opportunities in your career that you come across a disruptor and be able to join this rocket ship so early. So that part of it's exciting.
And one of the things that I know you say quite often is that TikTok is a pirate ship. It's not the Navy. It's innovative, pioneering, everything about the business and what you're creating and how you're empowering user-generated content really within the platform is quite exciting. But you work for a part of TikTok that isn't about the influencer side. So tell us, what is the affiliate program TikTok for Business all about and who is it actually targeting? Because I think when people say TikTok, they always just think, oh, influencers, content creators. So tell us a little bit more about what's behind the scenes and what TikTok for Business is and does.
Yeah, definitely. So as some people would know, there's two sides of the arms. So you got the user side, which we position ourselves as the entertainment platform. So on average, user will actually spend an hour and a half, which is a movie time frame, on a daily basis using TikTok, the user side of the platform. And then we have the monetization side, which is called TikTok for Business. So there's 3 pillars under TikTok for Business. We have the advertising pillar, which is TikTok Ads Manager, very similar to Google Ads Manager or Facebook Ads Manager. So it's basically an app product. And then the second one is our e-commerce. So that's TikTok Shop. That also falls into the monetization side. And then you have the creative solutions, which a lot of people also don't know, is essentially we have a connection with all the millions of creators around the world. We actually have few products, but moving forward, we're going to consolidate into one. It's called TikTok One. So advertisers and brands can just essentially log into one login to TikTok One, and then they have connections with millions of creators to help them create content at scale.
Yeah. So that's a very interesting, like, splice and dice of what TikTok is and does, which I think is good that we've had at the beginning of this conversation. But I want to go back to your career history because you've had a very interesting journey, and you've worked for some really big brands, really big companies. How have you transferred some of those skills that you've had over the course of your career in the industry? And it has been a very long and illustrious career. How are you transferring some of that over into what you're planning and doing in TikTok for business right now? Like, how's that led you to the kind of journey that you're taking this business on today?
Yeah, I think I'm going to answer it slightly differently for folks everybody has their own journey. And I think a lot of them are very successful. So I think the advice that I would give to younger generation who's just starting off their career is test and trial. So try in the beginning, try to diversify your portfolio, try different things, try different verticals. So for me, I think what I really enjoyed building my career is in the very early on, for the first half of my career, I wasn't sure what I'm really interested in. So I tried different positions. So I was on the publisher side, on the in-house side, as well as on the agency side. But overall, I know I want to be in the marketing space. I love just like the core of analytics that marry into the human connection aspect of it. But even within that realm, there's still a lot of positions that interest me. So in the beginning of the career, I would say spend the first 5 to 7 years exploring. And then once you find what sticks, what ticks, right? And then go deeper into that vertical and that domain knowledge. So that's the advice that I would give because that worked for me.
I have to say that's very good advice because a lot of young people coming into this industry, they don't actually understand the depth and the breadth of what affiliate marketing is and all the different areas that you can specialize in. And especially now that affiliate marketing isn't just affiliate to consumer anymore. It's now business to business, which is the area that you're in. Like, you're actually building an affiliate program that recruits other businesses in to actually utilize the TikTok platform. Your program's huge. It's global. It's all over the world. And I want to dig into that a little bit because, yes, TikTok is a massive brand. It's grown exponentially in a very short space of time, like taking over the Google and the Facebook. It's right up there, but it's come out of nowhere. How have you leveraged partnerships to actually support that growth? It's integral as part of the business culture because we've had these discussions. So how are you looking to work with partners and what are you learning from swapping into that B2B space?
Yeah, I actually thought about this question. So essentially the question is how do you scale essentially any business in the affiliate world, right? Whether it be B2B or B2C. So the way that I break it down into 3 segments. So one is the hardware, which is the tool. So we definitely go out right now. We partner with Impact. It's a great tool. They rather than focus on everything, they're very specialized, just building a very scalable tool that's global.
Yeah.
So the hardware, then the software, which goes back into the human connection piece, right? So finding the right people. And this is very applicable to all the businesses. So how do you find the right people with the right skill set, but it's also able to have the soft skill that's needed, right? In this business, you need the right hunter and you need the right gatherer to actually grow the business. So that's the second aspect, which is which I call software. And then you have the strategy, right? So that's the bring aspect of it. You still have to understand, continuously testing to understand what actually works, what actually don't. I just got out of a meeting last night. Essentially, the leadership, my manager was like, hey, do less, but actually find out what's meaningful and just focus on fewer things to do that's actually moving the needle. So that's the core of strategy.
I love that. And you make it sound so simple. You really do. And I know that it's not, because when you're in a big company like that, where growth is constantly being chased, you want to innovate and you want to try new things. But sometimes you can get into that habit of trying new things and it just becomes every day we're trying something new, but nothing is actually moving the needle because you're spreading yourself too thin to try all the new things. And one of the things that we discussed when we met up in LA is KISS, the culture of KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And I think it's advice that we overlook because it sounds too easy to implement, or it should be so logical to implement, but actually the simplest things and the most effective marketing things are sometimes the hardest to get right because they are so simple. There isn't anything fancy around it. And that is one thing that I think you and your team have done exceptionally well at TikTok is you've created a program and a strategy that enables businesses to actually grow. And right now, in the current state of our industry and all the economic and political things that are going around the world, it's very important that businesses, that SMEs know that they have access to channels that can exponentially put them in front of their audience. And TikTok is one of those channels, which is why I wanted to get you on this podcast so eagerly. What are some of the resources that you're actually looking at to keep up to date with current trends? Because TikTok's flying fast. The digital space around you is flying fast too. So how do you keep up with what's happening in the performance marketing space? And are there any resources that you can maybe share with our audience that have been very helpful for you in your career?
Yeah. Again, I try to keep it simple. I don't try to chase the trends. I actually look at people around me, right? So we're marketers. So essentially what marketing is the study of consumer behavior, right? So you need to get into consumer behaviors, the psychology aspect of it. So I usually start with the close friends and family. I observe what is their decision-making journey, right? And how do they behave on a daily basis? And then to catch up on the trends, I read news and podcasts, which is why we're here. But also, I think end of the day, just to simplify, as a marketer, you're doing one thing, which is who's your customer? Understand them and understand your product. And the magic is connecting the two together.
Yeah, I love that. And it's actually very good advice because we forget about putting the customer first. And in my world, the customer is the affiliate. It is the partner that's referring the sales to me. And when you forget about what your affiliate needs, you're actually not able to account manage them properly. And you said this industry is very aligned to data that helps us to make decisions, but it also has the personal aspect. And the personal aspect I always think is shelved last because the data comes at us first. And I think that's one thing that you guys have done really differently in your program. You've got a really clear strategy in terms of what your segmentation is. You go in deep and understand that partner and then reel them in and bring them in as part of the business. And the reason why I know this is because I have actually looked at the affiliate program before I got you on this podcast. But the user journey and the flow that you've built in your program actually invites the affiliate in as if they are an extension of your own marketing team, which is something that I think your team has done incredibly well. And that obviously stems from the advice that you've just given everybody listening here. But you don't tend to treat your affiliates as suppliers. And that's something that I've said for a long time. And I now see companies like you doing it, which makes me excited because it actually means that the value that we've placed within the performance chain and all these partners that exist in the performance industry is becoming more important to bigger companies, whereas affiliate was always traditionally for the last 20 odd years, just in a silo sitting on the side over here. But now it's actually a really big fundamental part of the marketing process. And with companies like you spearheading that and actually investing very deeply into the affiliate channel, to me, that's quite exciting because it means that things are moving forward. What made you decide to actually double down on affiliates and actually build the affiliate program for TikTok for Business?
Yeah, there are a couple reasons. One is it is a very trustworthy channel. So essentially you're utilizing your partners and you're trying to build the trust within the community. And we have internal stats that we actually did a quantitative and qualitative research internally from our marketing science team that 75% of our own users, our own advertisers, say that instead of if they run into challenges or they wanted to know how to launch TikTok ads 101, rather than coming to our own resource, which we spend a lot of time and resource to build help centers, materials, they actually just go to our influencers. And so think about it, 75 people out of 100 people, they will rather rely on a third-party partners to get that information and have that trust to learn about how to launch TikTok ads versus just come to us directly. And that goes for a lot of other brands too, right? This is comparable industry stats. So I think that's number one is this channel, we're able to build community and build trust. Number two is that it's essentially a referral program, if you think about it. And so we're able to measure the word of mouth. which you're not able to measure through, let's say, some other channels like search. So I think that's another beauty of this channel. Number 3 is it's from a marketing perspective, it's a high ROI channel due to the nature of post-action payment model. So I think from the brand side or advertising side, you're always on the winning hands. You're partnering with somebody, but you don't really have to pay until this action is completed.
Yeah. And that has always been the kind of logical step for me, but most people don't really apply that and understand that. They still worry about other things like how does affiliate impact increment and how do I measure uplift? And actually you broke it down into 3 really simple things. So I think that was really good advice there. How are you positioning your own affiliate program to scale? Because you are already huge. So how do you take a brand that's already really well established and like 95% of the population of the world knows what TikTok is, okay? Like, how do you still then scale after that? Like, what are the strategies and things that you've done to really continue to echo out and find the opportunities for TikTok to continue to grow, especially in the B2B space, on the B2B side?
So it's true. I think on our consumer product side, it's a household name. Everybody know about TikTok. Yeah. But there are actually fewer people know about TikTok for business. And like maybe the marketing and advertising vertical know about us. It's a household name to them. But to other, let's say, just normal like Johns and Joes of the world, who's like the SMB advertisers, that's like just super busy with their like trying to grow their own business, and which is the type of the customers that we like to partner with and help them. They actually don't know that much about like our product offerings and the tools that we can help them to scale their business. So it's actually a lot of education in the beginning. I think 2 years ago when I started this program, a lot of the question that come to us is what we didn't know. It's more of a what. And now the user come to us and the question is, how can we use this tool better? How can you educate us about what is the best practice to launch for the first 30 days versus 90 days? So I do see the evolution of the awareness, and now it's getting into becoming more of a household, even on the business side. But to answer how we scale the business, I would say I essentially developed the test, learn, and iterative framework, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's applicable to a lot of business. There isn't one size fits all. So we're constantly testing. We're testing different commission structures. We're testing different verticals. We're looking at the data. We're like just whiteboarding on things. So I think testing is very important. And then 2 is in order for us to understand like what actually moves the needle, what works, what doesn't, we developed basically an input and output framework, right? So input metrics should be anything that you have control over. Like we always say, control the controllables. So that's essentially how fast that you can close the deal, and then how many partners join, how many actually become active, and why they become active, or what's the hurdle that preventing them from become active once they join the program. So those are all input metrics. And then output metrics should be any brands, like essentially their end KPI. Usually it's like either top line metrics or bottom line metrics. So that's revenue.
Like that. I might have to steal that and use it on some of my clients. So thank you for sharing that with us. I did want to talk about the strategy behind the growth as well, because you are working with, it's a really good platform. And you said hardware was one of the key things that actually helps your program to scale. Can you talk us through some of the strategies that you have for like global domination? Because a lot of smaller brands are listening to this podcast and they're going, yeah, I've got my affiliate program and it's running, but it's now plateaued. How do I actually like scale from that initial life cycle of launch phase where you're in the growth, and you get that plateau, and then you have to get the jet fuel again going to do that next leap, that next push? How have you used Impact to secure the scale of your program? Have you spliced and diced it? Have you got everything running in one? Do you segment the program? Just give our audience a little bit of tips about how to leverage the hardware in order to scale.
Yeah. It's a pretty big topic, right? Like, how do you scale your business? Yeah, so the way that I do it, I break into smaller chunks. So I look at who to focus on. Impact has a lot of partners in their program, right? Like thousands and millions. So like, how do you narrow down and then know who to focus on? That's like essentially your extension of your team and your sales arm. So that's number 1. And then 2 is how to go after them. Now that you recognize who they are, what is the strategy and also the narrative to go and partner with them? And then the third one is once they're in your program, how do you grow the existing partners so that you can lessen the pressure from recruitment?
Yeah, so, because that is a constant grind, right? Especially when you're trying to grow an already big household brand name, the recruitment of finding new niches and new opportunities, that is a constant grind for most affiliate managers in their programs, no matter where they are in their life cycle. But I like the fact that you've said you need to go and double down on the partners that are already there, because we do forget that sometimes. We forget about looking at what's already on the table and how we can go deeper with those partners. What strategies have you seen work well recently? Because the industry that we're in is changing all the time, and especially on the content creator side. There's new rules, there's new regulations, there's things that brands need to be working with their affiliate partners on in order to remain compliant with affiliate tracking laws, all of that kind of stuff. So how are you actually leveraging strategies that work well to help you to scale? There's probably a few things that you're doing. Just pick one simple thing that you guys have done in the last 6 months that have really moved the needle.
Yeah. So I would say for TikTok for Business affiliate program particularly, I think we're now shifting strategies. So in the beginning, we're doubling down recruitment. And we're at the stage now, essentially that's the infancy stage, right? And now we're shifting from the infancy stage to the growth stage, where we notice actually demand is not an issue. Kind of similar, going back to what we are saying earlier, is that it on the business side, it started to become a household name as well. So we don't have any challenges on demand. People will find us naturally and join our program, but it's how do we grow the existing folks and get them activated early on? That's a trend and also opportunity that I see.
Yeah. And I love that, because sometimes we do focus on the top of funnel stuff and we don't actually get down into the weeds. So focusing on the weeds actually is the next step to scale. And it's not just about recruitment all the time. What about things that are changing in the channel? I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here, but Neil Patel recently sent out an email that said, stop advertising on TikTok and divert your money onto XYZ channels. I was quite incensed by that. I was like, that's not really good advice for SMEs, because TikTok provides a lot of value. And with cookies deprecating, impacts on retargeting and using ad platforms that aren't compliant and don't use first-party data, TikTok feels to me like the perfect place for an SME to go and get their ads out and get in front of their consumers. So how do you think, not naysayers, but how do you think misinformation on the internet that filters down to these SME business owners can impact the way that they grow their business? And how do you identify what is good advice and what's not? Because clearly you can see the numbers of what's happening with TikTok for Business. You can see it's growing exponentially, and you've shared some of that information with me before. So when I see stuff like that going out on the internet, it makes me a bit irate, because it's misinformation, basically. So what kind of things should we be advising to affiliates who are promoting B2B affiliate programs like yours? What should we be telling them? And what should we be saying that the good advice should be?
Yeah, I think in general, when we receive information, we should always be asking, what is the incentive of people who's providing that information, right? I think that in this particular case, Neil Patel's audience is mostly centralized in North America, where we're facing the geopolitical headwind. So I understand where that's coming from. And also Neil Patel's core strength is really in the search world and SEO world, right? Which is less applicable, I think, in the TikTok for Business world, which is more of how do we utilize entertainment and content to help S&B grow their business. So I think understanding the business, our business, is also another factor. But we're very focused right now, just like always, to help S&B grow their business. So I think a lot of people, what I would recommend is test it to see if it works or not. And that's the approach I use to grow my program. So utilizing our platform, essentially, we're trying to pump out a lot of really good product in the back half of the year and going forward. So in TikTok world, which just happened recently, we announced 2 key products. One is TikTok One, which I mentioned earlier. So it's basically a one login, and you can have access to our existing 3 creative product, which one is TikTok Creator Challenge, and the other one is TikTok Creator Exchange. And then the third one is TikTok Creator Marketplace. So through those creative solutions, you're able to plug into a lot of like really good content that creators are very like creatively expressing on behalf of your brands. So I would say try that. Actually, a lot of people don't know about it. The second one is TikTok Symphony. So TikTok Symphony is an AI generated creative solution. And this one is still in beta and it won't be able to roll out to SMBs until later September of this year. But this one is great. It's instead of hiring a creator or spending money on creative solution, you don't have to do any of that. You can use our AI tool to cover all of that. And it's very low production cost, right? You think about it for SMB. They don't have the knowledge or the money or the time to do it. So this is a great product for SMB to try.
It's a great product for affiliates to promote as well, because a lot of affiliates that are talking to SMBs, they're small retailers or small businesses in any industry, whatever industry it is. They're teaching those retailers how to do marketing in order to reach their customer. And all of their customers are on TikTok. Like, how many millions of people are on TikTok right now? I don't even know what the stats are because it changes so frequently. But it's about harnessing the platform and the tool to get in front of your audience. And your affiliate program is helping SMBs to get in front of their audience through the advertising on TikTok. And affiliates and agencies as well. That's the other thing, is that the program is so broad. Like, you could be working with an agency that's adding an additional revenue stream to their business. They could be referring their customers to TikTok for Business. You could be working with affiliates who are teaching SMEs how to do paid advertising. They could be referring their clients to TikTok for Business. The spectrum of affiliates that you work with in your program is just so broad. And I think that's the other reason why I wanted to bring you on the podcast, is because no two affiliate programs are ever the same. And the strategies that you're implementing in order to grow, and the program has grown exponentially quickly over the last couple of years. And that's why I was excited to bring you on the podcast, because your view on how you're building this business and the partners that you're leveraging to bring in is just so unique to the standard affiliate program marketing manager. Like, everything that you've done is tactical, and you've put processes in place to enable every single kind of partner that you want to be working with on the SMB side to be invited in as if they are part of the team. Like, that, the whole process of joining the program and getting in, that's the thing that made me excited to bring you on the podcast, because I wanted to explain how even a massive company has to continue to innovate, even though they are a household name. And these are the things that other affiliate managers can learn from and leverage in their own programs. But even if they're small now, they can still leverage these tactics that you've shared, the input, output, breaking it down, always be testing. All of these things are still tactical things that will benefit anybody listening to this podcast. I have one more question for you before I allow you to leave. What are some of the issues that you think need to be addressed in the content creator ecosystem for partnerships to thrive as we move forward into the new year? With all the changes that are coming, cookie deprecation, TCP, all of the consumer consent, consumer data becoming more regulated and protected, what are some of the issues that you think need to be addressed in the performance industry in order to thrive next year?
So I think there's a couple of challenges. The AI is definitely a huge topic in the space, right?
Yeah.
Particularly for the creator space. So I think it's the matter of how do we strike the balance between the human creativity and the AI efficiency. So I think that's going to be a big topic probably in the next couple of years, not just next year. And the regulation, again, the technology is always ahead of regulation. So that's something that we should all collectively observe and just navigate the complexity of that space. Again, I would go back to the brands and just recommend testing, right? And then there's two other challenges that's not necessarily new, but it's just been a challenge, I think, for this space. So one is, how do we protect our community and our brand while also empowering creative expression?
Yeah.
Right. Like, I try to be hands off with our partners because they're essentially extension of our team. So you have to enable them and empower them to do out of box thinking, but then also make sure that it's in compliance of our all like brand guidelines and all that stuff. So that's one.
Yeah.
And then the second one is, how do we also ensure transparency without compromising security? And I don't think this is specific to TikTok, but I think that's particularly in the B2B space where the user journey is more complex.
And it's not always immediate. There's validation processes and things like that as well. And I think it's a really good topic actually to look at and explore, because for so many years, we've always corralled all of these publisher types, people types in our program, because let's face it, affiliates are people as well. They're not just technology partners or whatever the case may be. And we've always gone, here's the standard terms that now all need to conform to. And that's not possible because of the way that all the businesses are set up and how they run and the time zones that they live in. And it's almost impossible to get 10,000 people to conform to one set of rules. And as you said, technology does catch up. It does enable us to create different types of commission structures for different types of partners, different payment methods for different types of partners, depending on how they're running their business. We are moving to that point where I think technology is starting to catch up. And next year, we'll start to see a move away from a one-size-fits-all approach, which is always how affiliate has been run. And I'm quite excited to see how tech providers can actually accommodate that. So I know Impact's doing a lot of stuff right now in terms of including like platform innovation to suit content creators. So capturing things like their birthday and the products that they've sold the most of, and like really giving affiliate managers access to data that helps them to build those personable relationships by capturing the non-standard data and giving you all of those talk points and things to leverage those relationships. So I think those are really good points to actually have a look at, guys, that Vana shared with us today. I've got one last question, and that is to ask you for your best piece of advice, or one piece of advice that you can leave our audience with, for all of the affiliate managers tuning in, no matter where they are in their career. What's the one piece of advice that you will tell them to double down on or definitely look at before the end of this year to help them grow their programs?
Always be testing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that rings true whether you're a small program or whether you're a big program. Because if you're not testing and you're not moving with the times and looking at what's happening around you, which is changing all of the time, you're the only one that's going to miss out.
Yep. You learn the truth through testing.
That's true. You learn the truth through testing. I think that's a perfect way to end off this podcast. So thank you so much for being on this podcast with me today. It has been a pleasure to have you on the Affiliate Marketing Podcast, to hear how you are spearheading this program, growing it as an international global brand, and helping SMEs to get in front of their audiences and helping affiliates to make money while they're doing that. So thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Leanne. Appreciate it.
Are you ready to elevate your business and take it to new heights? The Innovate Summit is coming to you from London, the United Kingdom, on the 16th and 17th of September in partnership with Affiverse, Lead Generation World, and Maverick.io. This year, we're focusing on how to grow your business once third-party cookies eventually fall away. We'll be teaching you how to plan ahead for 2025, creating your marketing strategy, and understanding what channels offer the best investment to keep your sales growing, along with understanding how to leverage social selling and lead generation to grow your business. Whether you're an affiliate, an advertiser, retailer, network, agency, or just a B2B tool or SaaS provider, this event is made for you if you want to elevate your performance, understand where to get more first-party data, and grow your online service-based business leads next year. From in-depth panel discussions to TED Talk mini masterclasses, you'll get a host of insights on what to plan for and how to get successful next year. Enjoy our tabletop exhibition spaces and see new tools and tech and agencies that can support your business growth. Get to this event and come and learn more with the brightest minds in performance and lead generation. Visit affiversemedia.com/elevate-2024 to secure your ticket now. You really don't want to miss out on all that we'll be sharing with you at this year's summit. I'm looking forward to seeing you there.